Hello, this is Essie, the homeless woman. Um, Today is Wednesday. What's today? March I think it's the 20th. Yeah, Wednesday, March the 20th. And so yesterday I went to, what was it? My mother's. So my family, they stay around near my mother. And it was my aunt's birthday on Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. She turned 71. She also has a twin in Mississippi. So, and her twin has sent my mother pictures of, had a birthday celebration at her job, in her office for her. So she looked it really nice. My aunt in Mississippi is aging very well. She's 71 and she do not look it, okay? She's aging really good. And my aunt here, her twin, my mother and the rest of my family, they stay about an hour and 15 minutes away from me. And so I went yesterday to meet them and took my aunt some balloons and some gifts, because this particular aunt is always, she's alone a lot. And I had a dream about her, and it wasn't a good dream. So I know how it feels. From what I saw in the dream, I know how. I don't want to tell too much of her business, but anyway, when I had that dream, I was like calling my mother. Did you check on her? And she was saying that they're gonna go out to eat on Tuesday to celebrate her birthday. That was Sunday. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I might come. So I was trying to get all the balloons and get a card and you put things together for her, in hopes to make her feel better, because her kids are not there for her. They didn't do anything for her on her birthday. I know one of her kids sent her a text, and that was it. And I don't know what the other one did. So she's alone a lot, and I'm like, we need to go and show her support and show her that we love her. So that's what we did. And I pray, that she will be happy that day, and she will know that people care about her. And so I think she had a good time. So I brought the balloons and everything into the restaurant, and her gift, and people were telling her happy birthday. And she looks just like my grandmother. Oh, just like my grandmother. So when I'm looking at her face, I'm looking at my grandmother's face. So she was happy, and so I was glad that she was happy. When you go through things in life, you can relate to people. When you have been homeless, when you have been hungry, when you have went through depression, when you have had struggles in your life, you can better relate to people and how they feel when you see them are going through the same things that you have been through. But for someone that has never been through depression, for someone that has never went to sleep hungry, someone that has never struggled and wondered where their next meal going to come from, they have never been homeless, a lot of them cannot relate to someone else. And our Yahshua the Messiah, he'd been through a lot. He walked the earth. He was hungry. He didn't have nowhere to lay his head. He can relate to what we go through in a physical body. And so we went out to eat. What I really want to talk about in this video is being a cheerful giver and not letting anyone block you from being a blessing to someone else. In this world we have givers and we have takers. And there are some people that will stop. You may have a friend or family that is not a giver, or they might be a giver, but they might be a controlling person. And so they will stop you from giving because they don't want to give, or because they don't want to give a certain amount. So they will stop you and be very demanding about it. So I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday at the restaurant. So I'm not going to say any names, but this one particular person in my family has appointed themselves to be in control of the tips that we give the waitress or the waiter. And I forgot about this yesterday. I said that I was going to, when I tip, I was not going to put my tip on the table. I was going to hold it back. And once everybody had put in their tip, then I would just hand my tip to the waitress or the waiter because of this family member. So, this family member, we were all sitting around the table. And it was a buffet style restaurant. So, you get up and get your own food. But when we came in, there was a big table, and the family had just got up from that table. They had 2 kids at that table. And that table was in a mess. Even the floor was a mess. The seats was a mess. So this server it took him a while to clean this table off, clean the chairs off, sweep the stuff that was on the floor. It was a lot. So he did. We waited for a while for him to do that, and he did that. And I think he deserved a tip. So even though we did get up and get our own food. So after we finished eating, he tells us he's going to leave soon. And I'm like, oh, after he walked away, I'm like, you know why he's telling us that? He wants us to give him his tip before he leaves. So someone in the group had brought out $5. And then I said, give me that 5. And I put down 10. Only paid 5, but I took the other 5 that the person brought down. I put down 10. So this family member that has appointed themselves over control over the tips. When I put down that $10, she said, "That's enough. How much is y'all gonna give him?" She snatched the $10 up. I looked at her like, what? I said, oh, shoots. I forgot I said that I was not going to put my tip on the table anymore. That I was going to not give anything in front of them. Let them put their tip. Once they give that to him, then I will give him my tip in secret. So she can stop controlling how much we give the waiter or the waitress. I forgot. We hadn't been out to eat together in a while. So I'm looking at her like, who appointed you over how much a person needs? This is something she always say. They don't need all that. This is all they need. And I think to myself, as a person that works and rely on tips, I think to myself, like, if that were you and you had a job that requires tip giving, you would not be talking like that. But this family member has never had a job that requires tip giving. So this family member picks up the $10. They have contributed nothing to the tip. When the waiter comes to the table, she hands it to him and smiles. And I'm staring at her in shock. The reason why I'm staring at her in shock is because of the way she acted when we were putting in the tip, and then turns around and give him the tip as to take all the credit for the tip. And that's exactly what she did. She took all the credit for the tip. She handed it to him and smiled, and he smiled at her and thanked her very much for the tip. Now that's a narcissist for you. When a person has low self-esteem and no confidence, and they look for other people to make them feel good. They also put other people down too to make themselves feel good, but they want to take the credit for everything, and they look for praises, and they want the credit for everything. She knows she did not give any tip, but she took the credit for the tip. After she said that was enough and he don't need any more, she did not bring out not $1 to give, but she took all the credit. And that's a person with low self-esteem, and they need to feel lifted up. And I'm sitting there looking at her in shock. It is so many people like that. I'm sure you know some friends and some family that's just like that. They would tell you, and they are very demanding. That's enough. They don't need that. Don't let those people stop you from being a blessing to someone else. And when you are a blessing to someone else, you will receive blessings. When you give, you receive. It is good to be a cheerful giver. But some people that are not a cheerful giver and that are controlling, they will stop you from being a cheerful giver. So technically, they are stopping your blessing. And they're stopping the blessing of someone else. So I get tired of people like that. I really do. I don't like someone trying to control me, my money that I make, and stop me or anybody else from giving. You don't know what someone else is going through in their life. Like, we don't know what that waiter is going through in his life. As a person that at one time did not know where my next meal was going to come from, at one time had to go to sleep on a hungry stomach. As a person that has struggled, I know that you do not know what's going on in someone's life for you to say that's all they need. How can you possibly know that? How do you know that they're not struggling when they go home? So as a server that work at a buffet restaurant, you know they don't get tipped like a waiter or a waitress that works at a restaurant where the waiter actually brings the food to you, take your order. They don't get tipped like those waitresses and waiters do. They get tipped a lot less because you have to go get your food from the buffet. So they're not doing as much, but they're bringing you drinks. If you may forget something like a spoon or something, they'll bring it to you. You won't, they'll bring you things if you ask them to. They'll bring it to you. And then they have to clean the tables and stuff. And that table was a horrible mess that he cleaned up. And so that's just the point of this video is don't let anybody block your blessings. And don't let anybody block you from being a blessing to someone else. Because there's a lot of people that cannot relate to suffering. I'm glad that I have been through things in my life, because it has made me more of a compassionate person. I have always felt compassion for people that has had less than me. Even before I became homeless, I was always giving to needy people. But after becoming homeless and going through what I have been through, it has made me even more compassionate to people. And not just to feeling for homeless people and people I see eating out of trash can and stuff, but also people that have a roof over their head, because you never know, they probably can't afford to eat like they want to eat because rent is very high. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if they out there on a bus every day, if they taking Uber, and that can be expensive. If you're taking Uber to work in home, you know, that can be very expensive. Just because a person has a roof over their head don't mean everything is all good. They still can struggle financially. So that's just the point of this video, is don't let anybody block you from being a blessing to someone else, and also blocking your blessing at the same time. So I'll talk to y'all another day. Have a good day.